But now that we're kind of a little bit back to normal, we can't just say, okay, done and move on. That's why we're talking tonight about the healing and resurfacing. So we as parents have to be very aware of talking to our kids about this now as they are starting the new school year. The conversations are not done about the pandemic. Some of them that you work with, I'm sure Kristie and I work with, some of the kids are still kind of, that social anxiety is there, some of the germ anxiety is there, the not knowing, are we done with this thing? Is it going to come back? Are we back to normal? All of these things are still kind of in their DNA right now, if you will, because for them, 2.5 years, that was a lot of their lifetime versus ours, right?
That's right. That's right. So I'm going to kind of take this a slightly different way, because oftentimes we talk about how to have that conversation with your kids. But I am, like I said, really interested in kind of this sort of idea of kind of action and movement through this resurfacing. So rather than sitting down and kind of saying anything, one, I'm going to note that a lot of what we already kind of talked through this evening is parents or adults, no matter what the age of your child is you are living the modeling of it. So when you yourself are noting losses and the pain and the grief and reminding yourselves, and sometimes out loud, but it's not like, hey, I want to sit you down and I want to talk to you about the grief process. It's more like, gosh, today I really was so in touch with how sad I felt about, when we lost so-and-so, or about this happening, or not being able to do this. And it just, maybe just say, I really made space for that feeling of sadness, because sadness is kind of one of the really important emotions we have. And if I didn't care about anything, I would never feel sad. Now you're done with that conversation. These are kind of like the riding in the car side by side kinds of conversations. Flybys, therapeutic teaching moments. Sometimes they work the best rather than talking too much. Or you might take kind of these realizations that you're having for yourself, not impose them on your child and not make them have them, but let them see you doing this healthy process of resurfacing, recognizing the pain and the suffering, recognizing there's a process of healing, kind of acknowledging where you are from time to time in that, giving a little snapshot of that, sort of interjecting the and, really care about things. And then we have pain if we have losses, disruptions, breaks. And then the next step, I don't want you to forget about that accepting and integrating. How are you moving that forward? How are you doing that? And I think if we go back to, I think, was it Anne who was talking about realizing in that grief of the present moment, reconnecting with this grief and really honoring and rediscovering the kind of the treasure of that relationship and the memories and what has stayed with her all of those years. So it's kind of completing that circle in a way, if you will, for in front of your kids, demonstrating how you're doing that, right? So you're making those mental connections. You're making space for behaviors such as grieving, laughing, celebrating. Those are all things that you're experiencing kind of in your body. And then I think you're speaking to that meaning that you're making about it and how things can be different and can be better.